Ladies and gentlemen, we call this meeting of the Streets and Utilities Committee to order. This evening we have Director Carbonaro with us, and we are going to have a brief discussion on two items. One is billing office hours. Also, we're going to have a discussion in relation to the newly codified payment plan option that's going to be available. Director, if you will please give us a executive summary of both of those items.
Yes, good evening. So we'll start with the billing office hours. If everyone has or received the April 14th, 2025 correspondence that was sent to City Council, it details in there what we handled in 2024, which gives us a good representation over that past year. And just for a breakdown, we received 4,600 calls per month in 2024. So we receive a lot of calls every month. We received about 30% of our payments through the web. 34% were electronic payments. We had about 21% was mail or Dropbox. 11% was IVR or over the phone, and then we had 3.4% of our transactions were in person. And I say transactions because these numbers aren't individual people, they're individual transactions. So you could have one person coming in to pay 5 or 6 or 10 transactions, so 10 bills. So these, so that's, I just wanted to clarify that these aren't actual individuals, these are transactions. And then there's a graph there as well in the correspondence. So I wanted to provide this information because I know there's been questions about what's our most popular way of people paying as it associates with our billing office hours and how we can maintain our efficiency with customer service. And then on the other side is our payment plans, which from our last committee meeting, Council had brought together some suggestions and sent it back to administration to review, which I went ahead and took those suggestions and brought a new ordinance back. And sorry, I'm just pulling it up so I can have my own data here. And we went ahead and the one was, I know one thing was 1 time a year for payment plans. So we went ahead and I discussed it with my superintendent of billing, Ms. Carmen Ditto here, and Ms. Carmen Lozano, sorry. And we went ahead and brought it to 2 times a year. We're also 4 months, 6 months, 10 months, and 12 months for the payment plan periods. And everything else. And we also added the opportunity for a hardship application as well, and that was attached as well. And so I took that recommendation from Council too. That really is the summary of the items that are presented tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Director. I had a question in regards to payments. I noticed here that you talked about how the city right now is absorbing fees related with credit, debit cards, etc. I know one of my monthly bills, which is AT&T cell phone service, they just recently changed their $10 a month discount program, where if you kept a credit card on file to pay that bill, it went down to $5 because of those fees. But if you put ACH information in there from a direct, like a direct checking account or savings account, you kept your $10 credit, and because then they don't have to pay the fees. Is that something that we've looked at, trying to come up with a way that people can try to help the city avoid fees?
So currently, if you sign up for ACH through the City of Lorraine, so that's not going through the Payments portal, that's getting our form and filling it out with your check, either checking or savings, there is no cost to the city, and there's also no cost to the customer.
Have we thought about incentivizing people? If it's going to save us $2 a month in fees, and we gave them $1 a month off their bill for doing that, then we're saving money and customers are saving money.
We can look at something like that. We have put that message on the bills before for the customers to sign up, but we can definitely do something or look at something like that.
Yeah, I know it really helped with AT&T when I have 5 lines on that plan, so my bill was going to go up $25 a month if I didn't go in there and update it. So just some food for thought. With that, I will open it up to council if anyone has any questions in relation to billing hours and or payment plans. Please turn your light on. Councilwoman Kempton.
Yes, I have a couple questions. So, or I guess maybe thoughts. So, hours. If the amount of people that are coming in after 12 to pay their bill or to talk to somebody about something, if it's so little, I mean, if there's just not that many people who do it, why not open the doors and let them come in? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me that if it's so little, I mean, every other department in this city, afternoon, if somebody comes in the door, they take care of them. So I don't understand why the water department can't do that.
So we're not locking people out. The doors are open.
Mhm.
There is a kiosk available, and there is a phone in the lobby with a directory of who they can call if they need to speak with an individual.
Why can't they just go up to a window, ring a bell, and talk to somebody? Why does it have to be all of these procedures?
Well, I guess a misconception from that statement is the window is strictly for cashier payments. I know, when we had a line out the door, and I don't like using it as a time reference for everyone, but pre-COVID, people would try to come up and talk to somebody. We'd have to pull somebody from the back off the phones to talk to this individual, to handle their questions, because the windows are strictly for cashier.
Mhm.
Process payments for individuals that were coming in. So that's what the window is there for. It's not to set somebody up for a payment plan. It's not to answer questions. That's why we have our customers, our other accounts representatives. So that's why we are operating the way we are. It's also for an efficiency sake. We don't want people standing around. Perfect example. At 3 o'clock today, we had over 300 phone calls. We had 2 people on the phone in the morning. The third person came on the phone in the afternoon. So do the math. That's a lot of phone calls. That's a lot of phone calls. And that's not just taking payments. That's answering questions. So keeping somebody at the window full time isn't efficient. And I'm not going to have that person take payments and answer the phone, because I'm sure everyone's had this experience. You walk up to somebody and they're on the phone. I'll be a minute. That minute turns into 5. That minute turns into 10. It's rude. Somebody's answering questions for somebody on the phone, and you're standing there patiently trying to just make an easy payment. So we just see it as not being efficient by allowing that.
So you don't think that the person who is trying to pay with 3 types of payment and can't, or has to wait and come the next day during your time, that's not inconvenient for them? So I'm saying if somebody's paying with a debit card and cash and a check to pay their bill, they can't pay it then because they have to wait till they actually can hand cash to you, correct?
The kiosk now takes cash in the
Okay.
lobby. We've made that switch. The kiosk no longer takes a check because it was not even being utilized. We had one individual who used that kiosk for a check. It's just to my right. So now we switch to take check, and it takes cash and credit card.
Okay.
And then we also have our IVR payments.
But I don't mean to interrupt you, but the kiosk can't answer any questions. And that's what the people that work there for. So if somebody says, I'm paying this now, I'm going to make a payment arrangement, we'll get to that. But they can't answer any questions. They would have to come back. They'd have to make a phone call. They would have to do more to get a hold of your department, is what I'm saying.
Well, they would just have to pick up the phone that's in the lobby.
They would have to do more instead of just going up to a window and paying their bill.
Well,
I just want to make it as simple for my residents to pay their bill, because Councilman Thornsberry said about AT&T, and other people talk about, well, the electric company does this, or the gas company does this. We're not a company. We're not a business. For all intents and purposes, we're a nonprofit. We should not be profiting off of our residents. And quite frankly, we should be making it as easy as possible for them to be able to pay their bill. Anyway, even if it is uncomfortable or inefficient for us, it's them that we serve. So that's my on the hours. And as far as the payment, right now we are in the midst of going into another recession. Every economist in the world has said that. To make it harder for people to get water is just completely crazy to me. At the end of the day, if somebody doesn't pay their bill, we shut their water off. Somebody's got to pay that water to get it back on. A landlord, a tenant, someone, someplace, some along the line. We're the only game in town. It's not as though somebody who stops paying their water bill, gets the water shut off, then can go to Avon or go to another city and get water service. We get that money one way or the other. So making it harder on poor people to get service is absolutely an abomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Kempton. Councilwoman Springowski.
Good evening, everyone. We are public servants. Everyone on this side of the room is a public servant. We are here not for our convenience, but for the convenience and to serve the residents of this community. The vast majority of our residents are older. Some are not tech savvy. A kiosk may confuse them. Some of them have a hard time using cell phones still. There are some that are still on landlines. I want to use the Treasurer's Office as our benchmark. They are very service-oriented. And what we need to be looking at is, what can we do to provide the best and most comprehensive service to our residents? It is not for what is our convenience. Therefore, I think it's incumbent upon us to return to the pre-COVID hours and the pre-COVID level of service. If somebody has to go and take somebody off the phones in the back or what have you, maybe we need to look at redistribution of duties or whatever. I know that when I was working in the private sector, even though I was kind of a quasi-supervisor role in that, if something needed to be done, what I did was I jumped in and I helped. Nobody is above this. We are here by the grace of the residents, by the grace of the taxpayers. All of our salaries are paid for by the taxpayers. All of the utilities are paid for by the residents of this city. And it is very important that we do whatever is necessary in order to serve them in the best way possible. Ms. Kempton is correct. Water is a basic necessity. And I think it should be a basic right. We've managed to keep the rates relatively reasonable, but we have to remember the socioeconomic demographics of this community. How many people are on pension? How many people are on assistance? Not everybody has a cell phone. They can't call in. And sometimes it just takes talking to a person and explaining it to them face to face, and that helps those people. And we need to do whatever is necessary to provide the best service to our residents. I appreciate everything that you do. It's not easy. You're going to get yelled at for things that are beyond your control and that certainly aren't your fault. But we all have a job to do, and this is part of the job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Springowski. Councilwoman Duvall.
Thank you. I guess my question has to do with something we talked about a couple of meetings ago. If I owe a bill, I cannot make a partial payment on that bill? Am I correct?
Correct. As the ordinance stands, we do not accept partial payments in terms of it keeping your service from being terminated. So if you are 60 days past due and you've only been making partial payments, That is what the notification on the bill is for you to call the office, so we can either set you up on a payment plan, get you the information on us agencies that have assistance, and note the account so that when it does come up for delinquency, we know what you as a customer are intending to do to bring that account back to zero.
So if I make a payment and it's only a partial payment, I can go on a payment plan for that bill?
Correct. You can go on a payment plan for any time. As I said, as the ordinance states, anything over 60 days is subject for disconnection. Once you receive that notification that you are past due or you're in termination status, all you have to do is call the office and we will set up a payment plan. As Joe discussed, we are changing the terms for that. It could be 4, 6, 10 months, however that is that works for your budget. That way we have something actually documented in our system that shows that you are designated to pay X amount of dollars, including your monthly bill for X amount of months. And then it won't show up on a delinquency list to where you get turned off. Now, if you are just making, say you're paying $30 a month on your bill, you're carrying a balance for several months, you've not spoken with anyone in the water department, you can be turned off at any time. You don't want to carry a balance over 60 days.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman DeBall. Councilwoman Kempton, did you have another item? No. Anybody else from council? Seeing no lights, we will open it up to the public. If you want to step forward to the microphone, state your name and address, please. Oh, turn it. It's higher up. Got it. Yeah, it's by the white. If you look by the white sticker, that's where the sliding button is. Oh, there we go.
Thank you. Jerry Donovan, 5109 Oak Hill Boulevard. Just listening to the discussion, the director uses justification for efficiency to justify the procedures that they have, and cites that he had today at 3 o'clock 300 calls. I would guarantee inefficiency if you had that number of calls. That would imply to me that there's a lot more calls came earlier in the day, probably. And I'm wondering, do you log the calls, the nature of the calls, so that you can figure out what's going wrong? It creates 300 calls at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
We currently have a call recording system, so all calls going in and out of the office are recorded and logged. So that is the number that is recorded for the day as far as phone calls.
Yeah, I can understand you recording them. That wasn't my question. What are you doing to classify them so that you can address what's causing that number of calls?
Well, sir, the bills just went out over the weekend.
I know what I got.
So we do have an increased number of calls at the beginning of the month, every single month.
And then have you determined what's creating those calls? I didn't make a phone call because I'm satisfied with my bill. All right? If I had a problem, we just know what my problem was. I use tracking these so we just can address them and reduce them.
So
that's what I'm saying.
You're asking if we have an individual set aside in our office that sits there and listens to all the call recordings?
No, I am not. I'm asking for do you have an overall plan to do it? Do you have a procedure in place that'll do that? I agree with what the two council people said in here. You have to start addressing the needs of the public, not the needs of your office. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just throw in there, and this just happened to me last week. I had a resident call in on right down from you, Mr. Donovan, on Oak Hill Boulevard, had some brown water. And by the time I had emailed the director had already told me, hey, we got some calls on this already today. They were flushing hydrants was what happened. So, yeah, and we had the same guy call me today, again, brown water again, and everybody thinks it's the construction site, but it's been hydrant flushing in that area. So, anybody else from the public?
Hello.
Hi.
We're get shocked. My name's Carrie Buckley. I'm also a member of our SWAP board, and I just had a couple questions for the departments. Of all those calls that you're getting, What's one of the main reasons for them? I can't see it.
Well, that would depend on the time of the month. Typically during the beginning of the month, it is because the bills went out, so people have questions about what they received in the mail and questions about their bill. We do receive calls about water quality. We receive calls when we have main breaks. Trash is actually a very big one we get, and we don't receive any compensation for those calls. So we act as a call center for Republic a lot of the time.
Why are we using our workforce to answer calls for Republic?
That would be a question for the administration, as that's where the negotiation of the contract
If
is.
we knew that 30% of our calls were related to garbage services, you could take that off your plate, and that would really alleviate your call volume tremendously, to where you could open up that front window to where people could come in and pay their bill. We have been talking about this on the SWAB board for 4 years. Residents need those office hours returned to pre-COVID hours. And I don't understand why we can't do that. You're the only department in the city that is created to serve every household in the city, but yet you don't. You're not open for them. No other department is like yours. And we don't understand, because you hear it all the time from residents, that they can't go in and talk to somebody. Well, they could if they go through 16 steps to do it. But I don't understand. It seems like COVID was used as an excuse to really eliminate that front office. And we would just like to see that returned. And we're going to bring it up again in the SWAB report. But I would really like to see if somebody would take on this garbage piece of it to find out why we're the answering service for Republic Services, because that's a lot of manpower. And I don't know if that was that part of the contract with Republic? I mean, couldn't we just put, if you've got a garbage question, press 4 and you're transferred straight to Republic?
That is in the call queue. It's just people don't wait long enough to get there.
Well, when you answer the phone, can't you transfer them immediately? Or are you guys actually answering questions about trash service?
We are not answering questions about trash service.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I would just like to see those services be returned to the window where people can come in, pay their bill, talk to somebody, so that we can stop hearing complaints from residents. So I hope you guys really take this under serious consideration and move towards that again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Buckley, and thank you for your service on the SWAB board.
Hi, I'm Linda Carl. I'm at 2212 East 32nd Street. Over a year ago, I requested that the alley approach directly west of my property get repaired. It was temporarily repaired.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We're having a Streets and Utilities Committee meeting about water billing and about a payment plan. If you have an issue related to an alley, I would sign the sheet right there, and that would be a great thing to bring up at the regular council meeting.
I came here because it's the streets department meeting.
And I understand that, ma'am, but we're only talking about these 2 items. We'd love to hear it. There's a sign-up sheet right there.
I have signed up there.
Okay, great. We're going to get to your item in a little bit this evening.
Okay, well, I've been waiting for over a year.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Anybody else in regards to the payment plan and or the billing office hours? Yes, sir.
Oh, mine's a question about billing on the website. Keith Gordon, 1755 Broadway. Is there a way to check, because I have like 15 bills I pay a month. Is there no way that we can check like all 15 of them, get a total, and then pay it at one time?
If you sign up your accounts under Paymentus, which is our current payment platform, you can put each account in there individually. It'll show you the totals, and you can pay them. It won't let you pay them as a bulk total, but you can see each bill. So you're not jumping from site to site. You're just on the Paymentus site, and you can pick and choose which accounts you want to pay.
Okay, I've seen it. I was just wondering if there's a bulk, be able to be like,
Yeah, there is not a bulk, only because we found that doing it as a bulk, there were errors, especially with the landlords who owned multiple properties. They were paying, so we made it individual. You can have them all on your profile, but you do have to pay them individually. And if you have any questions, you can give me a call tomorrow. I can help you.
nope, you answered it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public? Mr. McGannon. And again, sir, thank you for your service on the SWAT board.
Pat McGannon, 1731 Gettysburg Drive. And just to make it clear, I'm not on the SWAT board anymore.
Sadly, we are aware, sir, but thank you for the time you did put into it.
My question is on when the billing office hours are open to the public, do we actually have a cashier sitting at that window when nobody is in there?
Yes.
Okay, that seems inefficient to do that, because I was saying if you don't, just do the other hours the exact same way, but you actually have someone sitting there when no one's in the lobby.
Are you talking about in the morning when the billing office is open, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we have somebody sitting at the cashier in the morning.
Even if no one's in there to pay a bill.
Correct.
Okay.
From 8:30 to noon.
Okay, that's with my question.
Thank you, Mr. McGannon. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, we will go back to council. Councilman Arroyo.
Yeah, I had a question. Well, I appreciate you guys looking into this a little bit, but my question is we talk about post-COVID and prior to COVID. Has our manpower changed prior to COVID to what we have now?
We've shifted our manpower in different areas that we've noticed we had inefficiencies, such as now we have 2 credit counselors offering payment plans because the workload was actually overwhelming for one individual.
And there's no way to readdress this situation post-COVID now, because I agree with Councilwoman Sprinkowski and Kempton that if someone comes in, it can be annoying to get on the phone sometimes, and it can be difficult for someone that's not tech savvy to get onto a kiosk. If someone was to get on the phone and call, would a representative come out and speak to them face to face?
Yes. And at times, Ms. Lozano has actually gone out herself and done that. So she stepped away from what she was doing to handle it with the customer.
So if they're having issues and they want to speak to someone face to face, there's always going to be a representative to address that situation.
Yes, that's why the phone is in the lobby.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Arroyo. Council President Arredondo.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Look at our council members. Being here for 18 years, I have been serving the public for 18 years. Others have served longer, some shorter. But as my esteemed colleagues have stated, we are here to serve the public. So please don't tell me there is no way we cannot do this. That is not acceptable. That is not an acceptable answer. We found our way through COVID. We had problems. We found our way how to work through them. I'm sure we could find a way to find our way here. But please don't tell us that we cannot handle this problem. I would be very disappointed in the administration and the water department to get that answer. And I know that is not the answer. So once again, we are here. This isn't going away. Public service is here for the people. We have to work this out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, Safety Service Director, carry on.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair to members of council and the public. But maybe I'm not understanding the topic as the rest of you do. But from what I'm understanding is that the walking traffic had the least volume, about 3.4%. Of that number, there's probably a lower number that is the number that requires help. some folks can come in and use the system. I think what I've heard is that we do have personnel in the office. If somebody needs help, they will assist them, whether it is picking up the phone and calling, whether it is ringing a doorbell, a bell to someone. I think there's someone there. I'm not hearing that there isn't anyone available to help those that have that need. And I think that's kind of what I was understanding before, that there wasn't a person available. So I understand the other side. It doesn't make sense to have somebody sitting or people sitting in positions that are not serving the public or the city or being efficient, because we run the numbers. We're the ones that are constantly asking, let's look at the reports. Are we performing with operational efficiencies? Are we wasting dollars? So to have people sitting in positions to be there that's not effective, those are things that we look at. But what I wanted to reiterate is that there is a system for those folks that do require assistance from a human being. There is. People are in the office, they're not being neglected. So whether it's picking up the phone and they can do so, or perhaps there's an easier way, they can ring a bell so somebody can come out and help them. I think that the service is there. I don't think we're neglecting folks that need that help. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Mr. Carrion. Come on up, Mr. McGann. Yes, sir.
Again and again. My question is, if someone comes in to pay a bill in those off hours, is there somebody to help them? And if not, why isn't it just open?
The lobby is open actually from 8 o'clock until 4 p.m. I have the camera up on my screen in my computer. I watch everyone coming in and out. If they are having issues at the kiosk, whether they've picked up the phone to call and say they are or not, I send someone who's not on the phone out to help them, or I go out myself. So there's never a time that someone isn't being helped in the office, whether it's picking up the phone. There's a monitor in the lobby that explains to the customers both in English and Spanish as far as what they can do if they don't find a cashier there. But I'm always watching those lobby doors to see if there's someone that needs help that might not know to pick up the phone.
Okay, so if I want to come in and pay my bill in cash at 3 o'clock, that can happen.
Correct, at the kiosk. The kiosk will take your cash.
I want to pay a person. Can that happen? The answer is?
The answer is no, because that person is currently on the phone.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman Smigalski.
Yes, you have somebody sitting there. This is the lowest volume. You have somebody sitting there from 8:30 until noon, even if nobody's in there.
Yep.
And you're worried about efficiencies in the department.
Are you?
Oh, yes, but I'm showing you, I'm illustrating that this is not a very efficient system. The bottom line is, this system, you may say it's working, and it is working for the people in the office. It is not working for the residents, which is our primary concern. Now, I don't know if it's a matter of perception, but as it was just said, if somebody came in to pay cash to a person at 3 p.m., that's not available to them. That is not acceptable. If the office is open until 4 p.m., then they should be able to pay that bill to a person if necessary to get a written receipt or what have you in person until that office is closed.
If they can do it at the kiosk.
Okay. You're great with tech. We just had a gentleman here, and I'm sorry, Mr. Donovan, to throw you under the bus, but I'm throwing you under the bus. Couldn't even turn on the microphone because he's not good with technology. Okay? And you're going to expect someone like that, an 86-year-old man, to use a kiosk that he probably can't use. We have got to serve the residents
At what cost?
of this city.
At what cost?
Okay.
Serious. I'm actually serious. So,
Okay, Mr. Carbonaro, if we want to go down that road, I am going to go down that road. It is necessary. And for the record here, the Safety Service Director can direct your office to stay open, and at this time, even though I am not a member of this committee, I am asking the Safety Service Director on behalf of the residents of the city to demand that that office stay open from 8 until it opens in the morning until it closes at 4 p.m. at the end of the day.
Is council making an administrative decision about the utility?
I am asking for this as a representative of the residents of this city.
Is the legislative authority?
I am asking this as a resident of this city. You don't even live in this city.
Oh, wow. Wow.
No, I'm good.
Councilman Smirnowski, thank you. Thank you. Councilman Duvall. Director, please. Director. Councilwoman Smirnowski, please. Thank you. Councilwoman Duvall, you have your light up.
Yes, I'm objecting to this disorder.
I'm sorry, Ms. Duvall.
I'm objecting to the disorder that's in this committee.
I concur.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then if someone needs to leave,
Someone needs a new job.
I see. Ms. Duvall, did you have any other comments, ma'am? Thank you very much. And seeing that you are last light on, I will end the meeting. Again, this meeting was informational regarding the billing office. It's also related to item 11B that's on this item, this evening's agenda. And with that, I will consider the Streets and Utilities Committee meeting adjourned.
Ohio Revised Code 2917.12 and Council Rule Number 47. Please silence your electronic equipment and rise for the prayer and pledge. Ms. Carter, will you please lead us?
Heavenly Father, again, we come before you with grateful hearts for the privilege of serving our community. We ask that you grant us wisdom and discernment as we deliberate and make decisions that impact the lives of those we represent. We ask that you guide our thoughts and words so they reflect integrity, compassion, and fairness. We ask you to help us to embrace unity in our diversity, to honor every perspective, and to always pursue what is just and what is right. We ask that you bless this council and our administration as we introduce and consider items for the betterment of our city and to all who call it home. May our efforts this evening contribute to the growth of our community and bring hope, healing, and opportunity to all. And then let us remind we ask that each of us that we are enough. We want you to know that, not because of titles or achievements, but because of the one who created us with the purpose and the great ability. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
We have 10 members present this evening. Absent is Ms. Spellacy.
Ms. Smirnowski.
Motion to excuse the absent member, please.
Ms. Duvall.
second.
Please vote.
Mr. Thornsberry, thank you. The motion to excuse the absent member carries unanimously.
Item 3, disposition of minutes.
We have the May 19th regular meeting minutes.
Ms. Duvall.
Move to receive and file.
Ms. Smirnowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Item 4, correspondence communications from the mayor.
There is none.
Mayor Bradley.
So, I always believe that I'm a visitor in these chambers. In other words, I'm not a member of City Council, but I believe that all members of City Council should be respected when we're in these chambers. And if I've ever not respected members of City Council, I certainly apologize for not respecting you, because you deserve to be respected. Just like we ask the public to respect you as members of council, members of the administration should respect you as elected officials in this community. And Joe, I would like you to say something to council, because I thought the exchange was not showing respect to members of council. So say something, please.
Not just council, but also the public. I'd like to apologize for what happened earlier, and just say that as leader of the utilities department, we are always and will always serve the public with customer service. That's our main goal throughout every department, whether it's billing, distribution, or sewer.
Thank you. Mayor Bradley?
So I just wanted to give you some positive things. So I got a message this week that, you know, but electric bills are going up. And so I called Lori Garcia and I said, hey, Lori, I see that electric bills are going up. And she said, well, not for the city of Lorraine, because she negotiated with our broker. And so she locked in until 2028 utility rate for the city of Lorraine. And so customers in the city of Lorraine who get electric can opt in to, you know, Brilliant Source, Dynergy, and they can get that lower rate just like the city of Lorraine does. So we're going to have that lower rate, and citizens of the city of Lorraine will have that lower rate. So I think that that's positive news, and I compliment Lori Garcia and broker for looking ahead and locking those kind of rates in. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that our auditor gave me an article from Islands Magazine. And it said, situated between Toledo and Cleveland is Ohio's diverse lakeside escape known as the International City. I just want to quote 2 lines from this article, but it's a good article about our city. And it says, if you're looking for beachside access, a diverse community, rich history, and a small town feel, well, you're describing the city of Lorain, Ohio, which is also known as the International City. Lorain is an underrated, walkable Ohio city with Victorian-era charm. Lorain has everything you could need or want from a small town, Ohio city. So sometimes we do get compliments about our city, and I think that when someone shares this information with me, I'm going to share it to council, and hopefully you can share it with other citizens in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Bradley. And also for anybody who subscribes to U.S. News and World Report, on the latest issue you could get at the newsstands, they have the top 20 cities to live in Ohio. Lorraine is rated number 7. So this is U.S. News and World Report, and they'll give you the whole reason why, but like the mayor expounded, and with that article also, I know some people, you can never satisfy, but I think we live in a pretty good place. Item 5, correspondence, directors, boards, and commissions.
There's none.
Item 6, correspondence from other governmental agencies.
There's none.
Item 7, correspondence from the general public.
We have correspondence received from NOPEC regarding their 2024 annual report.
Ms. Brigowski, would you like to?
Yes, I wanted to comment on Mr. Carbonero's apology. I wish to also apologize. I walked out because I didn't want to continue with the dialogue any further, as I felt that it wasn't conducive to the matter at hand. And I wish to apologize to everybody that was in the chambers at that time, and Mr. Carbonero. Unfortunately, he's passionate about serving his department, just as I am very passionate about serving and representing the residents of this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, item 7, correspondence from the general public.
We have correspondence received from NOPEC regarding their 2024 annual report.
No comments, receive and file. Number 8, public comments.
We have 7 members of the public signed up to speak this evening. First up is Jerry Donovan, and the topic is police grants.
Jerry Donovan, 5109 Oak Hill Boulevard. I noticed in looking over tonight's agenda, a number of grants and awards to the police department. And I just want to say, I think this reflects well on the administration and on the police chief and on the police department itself. And the only thing that I would ask is you be a little more focal in promoting these awards and letting the public know the type of police that we do have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Joseph Vaughn, and the topic is shooting.
Joseph Vaughn, 3202 Elmhurst Avenue in the city of Lorraine. I'm kind of disappointed in the city of Lorraine. I heard about a shooting. We had a shooting a couple of weeks ago on Elmhurst Avenue, and that's not very far from the school. Somebody said it was 30 rounds fired. I don't know. We got it on the cameras. It's horrible. We got to do something with these young kids. And I understand that was the kids in the house is only 17 years old. We don't know who owned it, who rents it, but I think we need to look at what we're going to do with these kids with the shooters. Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Linda Carl, and the topic is alley approach and alley paving. I believe she left. Okay. Our next speaker then is Dennis Flores. And I'm a little unclear on your topic, Mr. Flores.
Dennis Lorraine Flores, 212 West 18th Street. In my public service tenure as Lorraine City Councilman, I treated it like a 9-to-5 job. Then came the complaints and the 24/7 phone calls. I was gung-ho. I had a gung-ho attitude. I simply wanted to be the best councilman. Within 3 months on the job, I ran into the resistance. I would come to City Hall to check my council mailbox, and because I was on the Police and Fire Committee, I would also read the daily police reports. It soon became apparent that a certain LPD officer didn't like me reading their police reports, so that LPD officer took it upon himself to confront me. When I came to City Hall, that LPD officer would say to me, "What are you doing here? Coming down here?" To which I would reply, "What are you doing here?" The LPD officer, "I'm a paid city employee." I would respond, "What do you mean? I'm a public servant." That doesn't seem worth it. I was bullied and belittled for my position and my salary. I was asked, "How much do you make as a council member?" Well, 9,000. It doesn't seem worth it. I was arrested for solicitation, and a certain LPD officer called the council members at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. The voice message that was left was, "We got your boy." When I asked Channel 8 News reporter where she got that money exchange hands information, her response was from the LPD officer in charge of the investigation. It was after that incident that the former Councilwoman Ann Molinar specifically told me to stay away from him. That LPD officer, he means to do you harm. Denise Karloff told me, "He's not your friend."
Mr. Flores, wrap it up. You got 2 minutes.
Do not discuss info or whatever you do with this LPD officer. In 2013, the FOP subpoenaed me for my emails, text messages, and phone messages because I repeated a story published in the CT newspapers, but somebody in the LPD thought that I was the source of the leak in the Lorraine Police Department.
Mr. Flores, this is your second warning. You can come next week and read it, the rest of it.
I have a couple more sentences.
Okay, 2 more sentences. I'm counting.
Chief Refair threatened to put me in jail if I didn't reveal the leak. And when I revealed the source to him, it was covered up with a 30-page report that mentioned my name over 130 times. The public records request for that report was requested May 19th. How long will the city of Lorraine be without a chief of police? As I am deeply concerned for the safety of our residents. How long will the city of Lorraine continue to pay the chief's salary?
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Samantha Flores.
I'll be back next week.
Hello, Samantha Flores, 3795 Freedom Place. I am currently serving as the board president of Main Street Lorraine, and to build off Mayor Bradley's mention of the Islands article here to say something positive and invite everyone in the administration, on council, and everyone in the room to our second Saturday events. So our second Saturday is around June through September. So June 14th is our first one from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Everyone is welcome. So it is a Main Street Lorraine event. Our presenting sponsor this year is Achieve Credit Union. Everyone is welcome. Raffles, giveaways. There'll be 35 vendors, 10 nonprofits, 10 businesses on Broadway out in front of their location, really interacting with the community. So you can walk around, walk into their stores, see what they have to offer. We'll have a band, a DJ, 5 food vendors, a petting zoo, and other free activities for kids. And again, this is the second Saturday Main Street Lorraine event. It really is sort of our intentional collaborative approach to driving foot traffic downtown and increasing economic vitality, to really reinforce downtown as a destination for every resident in the city, to make and enhance a sense of place and to strengthen the social fabric downtown. So again, the date on that is June 14th. It's the second Saturday from 11 to 3, and I hope to see some faces in the room and some faces in the audience as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mike D'Angelo, and the topic is Building on Broadway, Eagles, the Style, and the Building.
Hi, my name is Mike D'Angelo, 40 son of 49 on Oberlin Avenue behind Rags. My 2 issues I have is the Eagles building. It's been falling apart, and there's some broken windows in the back of the building. I've seen teenagers walking inside the building, even on top of the roof, and I'm directing the traffic for walking on the river, and they just love throwing stones through the back window, and somehow still getting in. And don't understand that part, but they are getting in. My other situation, when I was there for the parade, I took a big live video and pictures. I showed Angel Aurora, Tony DeMacchia, and Mr. Kazera that the building, it used to be the boathouse back in the day. It used to be a department store, now the boathouse. Now it's a mechanic shop. They made a garage in the back. They're working on cars underneath. Well, some shape or form, if you look through the window, you could see how the building in the back is collapsed completely. It's caved in. When the boathouse ran it, the roof was very in bad shape. That's why they moved. And when the mechanic shop went in there, I guess, I don't know what if they left or not, but I did see a couple of shadows going in there during that parade. And my concern is the liability, and my concern is the safety. And it's just the building's falling apart. If somebody could do something about it, I talked to a gentleman over here. They're going to try to do something tomorrow, hopefully, but it looks like it's condemned. And my other concern was the Eagles building, because it is falling apart, and some bricks came down from the Eagles building, and I don't know if it's still in the alleyway, but it hit the palace. And it's just getting to the point that it is falling down. So, and there's a lot of broken windows in the back of that Eagles building. And I seen a few kids in the back trying to start a fire, but I could not. I see smoke coming from the back end. There used to be a patio. So I'm just my concerns about those 2 buildings. And God bless each and every one of you. You guys are doing a great job, because I'm a chaplain and minister. So you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Our final speaker this evening is Jane Morales, and the topic is the Water Department.
Through the chair. Am I doing that right? I was going to talk about the water department, but there seems no sense right now. But I do want to thank both Joe and Mary for apologizing. That was kind of nice. But actually, and I can't address, Joe, you had said something a little bit ago about we ranked 7th, and that's great. I want you to understand that I love my city, and I truly want it to be where you think it is. And I mean no disrespect with this, but I don't think your age bracket, like, I don't think you're getting it. I have a video. I wish you guys would look at this. We had guys, 5 of them, running with guns on Tower and Ashland, just shooting willy-nilly, doing whatever they wanted. This is why people don't want to come here. This is why the citizens don't want to go on to Rockingham River, and that's just one incident. There's so many incidents like that. So I know you guys, I appreciate the sentiment today that, like, you're here for us. I appreciate that. Can we keep doing it? And can we do something? Those are BB guns. Okay. Okay, so they did catch them? Well, that's good to know. Then can we put that out so that people, so people know that when I say communication, like, that would be great for us to know. Then we wouldn't be, I have family in from California that don't want to go to Rockingham River at all because they don't want to be in this city and they grew up here. My kids, my own kids, don't want to. So maybe can we put like a press release or something out that you caught them or something? That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. That was it. Item 9, committee reports.
Streets and Utilities Committee met this evening and discussed the Utilities Department billing office hours and the proposed legislation creating the payment plans, which is item 11B on this evening's agenda. No action was taken as this was informational only.
Mr. Salisbury.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Again, I'd like to apologize for not running the most orderly meeting. I had some thoughts there that I wanted to share. Again, the wheels were coming off the bus at the end there, so I was just trying to get this thing wrapped up. But I heard what I felt like was a potential middle ground solution. The department head is very concerned about efficiency, and I am as well. I think that, yes, we are serving the public, but part of serving the public is making sure that somebody's not sitting in a window getting paid and not doing anything. Like, I mean, we need to protect the taxpayers' money. But I also hear other people, and I 100% agree, anytime between 8 and 4, if you show up down there, somebody should come to the window and accept that payment. So it sounds like right now there's somebody sitting at a window, whether there's somebody there or not, sitting in a window in the morning time, and then in the afternoon time, you can't make a payment. I think somebody should be available between 8 and 4, between the office hours, not sitting at a window, but available to come to a window to accept a payment. So that's, again, I think there was a potential middle ground solution before things got heated, and I would just like to, make that recommendation to the administration as something to maybe try for a month. See how many people come in, see if we can use a dual role purpose where somebody is answering phones, but then running to the window when they need to, running to the phones. I think that would be a very in-the-middle solution that is being public service oriented, but also being efficiency oriented at the same time. So with that, I would concur with the committee report.
Ms. Winkowski.
I would absolutely concur with Mr. Thornsberry on this, and I think that that is a very workable solution, and it is employing common sense.
Good. Mr. Carrier.
Yes, thank you through the chair to members of council and the public. We agree. We are all public servants, and we're here to serve the people that live in Lorraine. That's our number one job, and if we can't do that, then we have a problem. I just wanted to share, even in having further conversations with Mr. Carbonaro, and I understand all the comments. It doesn't make sense to have somebody sitting there when the volume is low, and I believe that kind of sparked that conversation about what do we do in the afternoon. The higher volume of that 3.4% of calls comes in the morning. That's where you have a person there. But something that needed to be maybe be clear in terms of what was said is that if somebody comes in the afternoon, Mr. McGannon stated if he comes in at 3 o'clock to make a payment at the window, well, if that person has difficulty making that payment through the kiosk, somebody will help that person to assure that that payment is made. And I think that's something that folks need to understand, and we want people to know that no one will be turned away. No one will leave that office in the afternoon because they were not able to get help to get that payment made. That will be made. That somebody will come out and help them. Most folks will be able to figure out the kiosks and do it, but for those that don't, there will be help. We're also going to look back at, the comments that are made here. I agree with the comments that were made from the audience, that we should have a log. We should review what are the calls. What is the nature of the calls that are coming in? And if there are things that we need to do operationally to improve efficiencies, then we need to look at that as well. So we're going to revisit all of these issues, understand really what the purpose is of the city, not only that department, but in general. And number one for us is to make sure that we are here serving the public. So the administration, the mayor and I will continue to meet with Mr. Carbonaro, his team, and then we'll report back to you. But we certainly understand the issues, and we're concerned about assuring that we are serving the people in the best way.
Thank you, Mr. Carrion, for those comments, and you could be well assured that people will be following up on it. Ms. Kempton.
Yeah, I just had one thing to add. Councilman Thornsberry said potentially 30 days. I think we should do at least 90 so people will know that it would be open for them, and that way I don't think 30 days is enough to inform the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Duval?
It would seem to me that there could be a short note put on the bill, the actual bill, so that everyone who gets the bill will have access to the information.
Thank you. Mr. Demakia.
Yeah, through the chair of administration. I don't think that 30 days is a bad idea, nor the 90 days, but we ought to just do it. You know what I mean? I don't think we should do it for a temporary time at all. I think if we're going to operate that properly, just have somebody there all the time to accept payment from anybody that needs to walk in. I don't think we need a trial basis, and down the road if it doesn't work, then you can revamp. But you guys are the ones making the rules up. You know what I'm saying? So just do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henley.
Thank you, Mr. Arredondo. I think it kind of boils down to common sense. Period. In a previous role, I had a young lady or whoever sitting at the window because we had rent receipts, all kinds of payments coming in on a daily basis. People that wanted to get paid, carpenters, whatever. And the person that sat at that front desk not only met with those people and wrote the receipts and took the payments, but she also, and it's probably an outdated word, did data entry. There was a computer there. She would help generate, all kinds of things. So it's a dual purpose. If it's minimal, these people coming in, you're still serving them, but her full-time job description, or his full-time, or whoever, to be correct, I guess, whoever's job it is, that would be their primary role, and accepting the payments would be their secondary. The windows manned, other things are taken care of. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. No other comments? Please vote.
The motion to concur with the committee report carries unanimously.
Item 10, legislation, first reading.
Our first item is introduced by Mr. Thornsberry, a resolution declaring it necessary to remove and construct new sidewalks at 1020 West Erie Avenue in the city of Lorraine, requiring that abutting property owners construct the same and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Thornsberry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move this item to a second reading.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Mayor Bradley.
Just for council's information, there's a house at 1020 West Erie. I walk that route every day, and these people at that residence, without a permit, put in their own water line from the house to past the sidewalk. Somehow they picked up the 2 sidewalks and dumped them in the front yard. So they're sitting there. So one of the neighbors said to me, this was like 5 months ago, when is the city going to do something about those sidewalks? So I went to our engineers and I said, hey, when are we going to do something about those sidewalks? Every day I walk, some kid's going to be riding his bicycle. There's a big ditch. I said, we need to go after these people because first of all, they installed the water line illegally. And second of all, it looks like it's an empty house. And second of all, there's these big slabs of concrete laying in the front yard. He said, well, we can probably get it done when we do all the rest of the sidewalks next year. And I said, we can't wait until next year to replace those just 2 sidewalks. He said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it for the sidewalks that were approved last year. I'm going to add just that one house, 1020, to last year's sidewalks, and then we'll get it done this summer. And I said, good, because that's what we need to do. So I don't know if you need a committee on that, but that's the reason. It's just 2 sidewalks need to be repaired. That's the only house. And they're referring to abutting. These people that live there are the abutting property owners, so they have to either replace them or we're going to do it. So that's the explanation.
Thank you for the explanation. Mr. Forsberg.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I was only moving it to a second reading because the ward council person wasn't here. But now that the mayor was able to explain and he lives in that neighborhood, I will withdraw my motion to send it to a second reading and will instead like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Mr. Wall.
Concur.
Please vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
Any discussion? Mr. Demakia.
Yes, through the chair to administration, are we taking legal action against that property owner? I don't, again, I'm not sure if that's proper to discuss in a public meeting, but it seems to me there should be some kind of action to hold these people accountable for doing that at the city's expense.
And so number one, they'll be assessed if we have to put in the sidewalks. And I've talked to the legal department about going after them for the illegal activity because people should not be putting in their own water lines. And it's a mess. I mean, it's an absolute mess. So I'm glad that we're able to get this thing moved through. Kate Golden's here. She can tell you that this is something that needs to be addressed, and hopefully utilities also addresses the illegal action that they took. But the house looks like it's abandoned to me, so we'll find out who the owner is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maka. Mr. Nutt?
Oh, thank you, Sir. I believe the mayor had answered that question. I was actually going to ask if, since they did put in their own water line, that has to be inspected. I mean, if they tie it in, do they do it properly? How do they connect the whole 9 yards? So, I mean, as long as somebody in utilities, water department's looking into that, because that might have to be dug back up and see if they actually did a proper job. That can cause a bigger issue of backflow into the system. So, thank you.
Any other comments? Mr. Gall?
Yes, I had a question about the abounding and abutting sidewalk. Does that belong to the same person? They would be responsible for all of the installation, or are some of their neighbors affected?
Mayor Bradley.
So I asked that same question of Dale this morning, and he told me that it only affects that resident, not sidewalks for other people, because this is being added on to the 2024 sidewalk repairs that you've already passed. So this is just an addition to that. So it's not going to affect. So if some of the people on either side might, some people still have the sandstone sidewalks there, and some of them are cracked. It's not going to affect them at this point. We just want to address this one property with this resolution.
Thank you.
No further comments, Mr. Thornsberry?
I now move for passage.
Mr. Wall?
Second.
Please vote.
The resolution is passed unanimously.
Item B.
Item B is introduced by Mr. Demakia. An ordinance authorizing the chief of police on behalf of the mayor of the city of Lorraine to make application for and accept a grant award from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources 2025 Marine Patrol Assistance Program and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Demakia.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now move to suspend the rules.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a point of informational clarity. I was asked earlier if the matching funds were budgeted to affect the general fund, but obviously those funds are coming out of the police levy for that difference, just for informational purposes. Thank you.
Any other comments? No further comments. Mr. Demakia.
I now move for passage.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item C.
Item C is introduced by Mr. Demakia. An ordinance authorizing the chief of police through the mayor of the city of Lorraine to accept the award from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services, Ohio Department of Public Safety, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Demakia.
I move to suspend the rules.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Mr. Demakia.
I move for passage.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item D.
Item D is introduced by Mr. Demakia. An ordinance authorizing the chief of police through the mayor of the city of Lorraine to accept the award of the 2025 Violent Crime Reduction Grant Program from the Ohio Department of Public Safety Office of Criminal Justice Services and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Demakia.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? No comments. Mr. Demakia.
I now move for passage.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item E.
Item E is introduced by Mr. Nutt. An ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the city of Lorraine by adding a new chapter to Part 5, General Offenses Code, Chapter 560, Public Nuisances, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Springowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? Ms. Springowski.
Yes, I'd like to see this go to a committee meeting. I think that this probably ties in with the nuisance housing that I had turned in a long time ago, but I think it's important that we have public discussion on this matter. Just if we're doing a new ordinance and that, I just think that we need to get some input from the residents as well, and also for clarification purposes for any questions they might have.
So are you requesting to send it?
I made a motion to send it to committee, please.
Okay. Mr. Riley.
Through the chair to council, the administration and the law department are presented on a regular basis many different circumstances that could give rise to a determination that a public nuisance exists. The way that your ordinances are currently structured, the public nuisance law is directed to buildings, dangerous buildings. Many other conditions exist in this city that need to be addressed on a broader scale than an individual citation in matters of that nature. And so we have given serious thought to broadening the application of the public nuisance law to address conditions that are affecting a broader segment of our community than just a particular place or particular location. There are very urgent matters that are facing the administration and the law department that need to be addressed, and the application of this public nuisance law, as we have considered it and drawn it, will give us the right to do that in a more timely manner. It's not that I certainly understand the reason to debate it. If we're going to do that, I'd ask that the committee meeting be held almost immediately so we can address these conditions which need to be considered as public nuisances, or otherwise ask that you consider passing it as it's constructed.
I don't have a problem with passing it as long as we can still have some discussion on it. I don't care if it's in the form of a work session or in an actual formal committee meeting. Personally, I think that the ordinance is an excellently crafted piece of legislation. However, I think that it is incumbent upon us that we include the public in our discussions with it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, if I might add, and certainly would look forward to a discussion on a broader scale. However, I am, without being able to discuss the particular circumstances that caused us to bring this to council as late as today, asking the council consider passing it. We can always amend it, we can always revise it, but we do have conditions and circumstances facing the city that require us to consider a broader application of the public nuisance law.
I am in favor of that, with the caveat that we hold a work session on this.
Agreed.
And then I will withdraw my motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bengowski. Mr. Nutt?
Thanks, through the chair. Yeah, I actually was going to motion to take it to committee as well. I have a few questions, notwithstanding the comments, and I can understand that we can't speak about the specific issues going on that this may address. But some of the some of the questions I had about it in general. As I read it, I don't see anywhere in here where the accused violator has any recourse or ability to redress if, for instance, the safety service director, because the powers are basically laid with the safety service director to determine whether it is an immediate nuisance and needs to be taken care of immediately, that individual has any way of basically readdressing if those issues were pertinent enough to be handled immediately, because that comes with fees and costs. I mean, even one of the other questions I had too is my understanding of the treble damages is 3 times, so the city can essentially be awarded 3 times damages plus fees for the infraction. One of the other issues I kind of had with it as well, I think I could say this, obviously I believe the safety service director knows that I have great respect for him and his decision-making process. I don't think he'll be our last safety service director for the city of Lorain. So, but what I see here is that there's a lot of power being instituted into effectively an unelected official who can make that determination that a issue needing taken care of immediately, that which could cause a lot of dollars, let's say, to a property owner, an individual, without any sort of recourse and being done immediately without any, because usually there's like a letter stated up, put on the door, you have 3 days to address this issue, and I understand some situations you need to be taken care of immediately, but with some of those issues, like I said, I'm a little concerned about the amount of power to one single individual on that case. Is there anybody that kind of give me a...
Mr. Riley?
Although I'm not able to cite to you exactly the ordinance that in codified or section of the codified ordinances that provide for this, but any order of the safety service director is an administratively appealable order. So there is a process in place outside of being stated, particularly in the public nuisance ordinance that is before you, that would allow an order of your safety service director to be administratively appealed. There's no question about that.
Okay.
We did spend time with your BHP department considering this ordinance and how we might otherwise address these other circumstances that face the city. And it is my understanding that, generally speaking, and Mr. Kuznar is here to assist me if I'm not stating this accurately, that certainly it wouldn't be an immediate order. There would be a process that would lead eventually to an order and or to litigation that would be preceded by notices, warnings, and so forth. So it's not as though, absent an absolute emergency like a dangerous building that's prepared to collapse, a contagion that might otherwise exist in some location in the city, a biohazard incident that might otherwise occur or exist that we have to address. But there would be proceedings that would happen before the issuance of an order or the commencement of litigation. So I'm pretty confident, and Mr. Kuznar is here to add to that if he needs to add to it, but I believe there'd be a process of notice, warnings, and so forth that would precede formal litigation and or perhaps an order of the safety service director, but I certainly would defer to Mr. Carrion or Mr. Kuznar to amplify on that answer I just gave you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Mr. Nutt?
Yeah, no, obviously that was one of my primary concerns, and I was unaware of that, so that is actually nice to know. But as echoing Councilwoman Springkowski's comments, I think obviously then a work session, let's say, to address any of those questions that the public or any other council members may have. Having that be the case, I would actually, if there's no other comments, let's move for passage then so that we can get it done.
So you done?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Thornsberry?
Yes, I would support this broader definition. In fact, I was going to use my comments later this evening to address the situation in not only my ward but the 7th ward involving the train that gets parked here every summer, blocking a third of the coastline from our city to be able to see the lake. And again, my frustration is not with the administration. Safety Service Director Carrion got it moved last time. I believe him when he says he's calling them twice a week right now, and we're not getting anywhere. But again, my suggestion tonight was going to be, why can't we use public nuisance laws to go after them, to stop them from parking a train on our lakefront every single summer, which has happened now for 3 years in a row. So I support expanding the definition here of public nuisances, and I just hope it allows us to go after things like trains. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Ms. Springkowski?
Yes, I would caution Mr. Thornsberry on the situation with the trains. That is, that particular track is federal. They're there for storage. They have easements and right-of-ways, and I really don't like it when we take on the federal government. It never ends well for any of us. They're from the government and they're here to help. But we have to be very, very careful with that because those are federal tracks. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Bradley?
You're just talking about trains and underpasses and things like that. Mr. Carrion has been working with the railroads to try to address the underpasses. We were out there last week. We at least had the railroads agree to come out to the city of Lorain and look at those with us, but we've actually talked to the Ohio EPA and asked them, can you do something to make the railroads do something? ODOT. And they said no. We can inspect them, but once we inspect them, we've done our job, and as long as it's considered poor but safe, it's, you know, the railroad can do what they want. So we're gonna get them into town. I think they're coming in June 11th, June 12th. They're coming into town, and of course we're gonna talk to them about the trains that have parked there along West area, and we're going to try to get them to do some repairs on these underpasses that we have. But yeah, as Councilwoman Springkowski said, the federal government has given railroads like so much protection. It's scary, and it's hard to. So we're trying to be nice and talk to them. We have contact. They've given us cell phone numbers, so. But there's other things that I think that this particular ordinance can help us with in the city that aren't federal government people.
Thank you for your comments. No further discussion. Mr. Nutt.
I make a motion for passage.
Ms. Springkowski.
Support.
Please vote.
Mr. Demakia? Thank you. The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item F.
Item F is introduced by Mr. Thornsberry, an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director of the City of Lorain to enter into a contract with the lowest and best bidder for the Hot Waters Boating Access Site Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Thornsberry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Seeing as this item is under a time crunch, I will move for suspension of the rules.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The rule suspended.
Any discussion? Mr. Thornsberry?
If there is no discussion?
No discussion.
I will now move for passage.
Ms. Duval?
Concur.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item G.
Item G is introduced by Mr. Thornsberry, an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the City of Lorraine, the rehabilitation of the Pearl and Tacoma pump stations.
Mr. Thornsberry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Mr. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The rules suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Mr. Thornsberry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now move for passage.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item H.
Item H is introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure of additional funds for class action legal services provided by Wickens Herzer Panza and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. I did need to make a motion to amend this, amend Exhibit A by substitution.
Proceed.
Thank you. Okay.
Yep.
Make a motion to suspend three reading rule.
Ms. Winkowski.
Support as amended.
Please vote.
We have two motions going right now. If we could make the motion to suspend the rules first, and then we'll go into the substitution, please.
Make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Support. Winkowski.
The rule is suspended.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Make a motion to amend Exhibit A by substitution.
Ms. Winkowski.
Support as amended.
Please vote.
The motion to amend Exhibit A by substitution carries unanimously.
Any discussion? No discussion? Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Make a motion to pass as amended.
Support.
Mr. Spring.
As amended.
Winkowski. Please vote.
The ordinance is passed as amended unanimously.
Item I.
Item I is introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance appropriating funds for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Lorraine, State of Ohio, as passed by Ordinance 35-25, beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Make a motion for passage.
Ms. Duval.
Concur.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item J.
At this time, we have a request to waive the 72-hour rule and add this item to the agenda for consideration.
Mr. Demakia.
Yeah, I make a motion to waive the 72-hour rule.
Ms. Winkowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The motion to waive the rules and add the item carries unanimously.
Proceed.
Introduced by Mr. Nutt, an ordinance authorizing a payment in an amount not to exceed $250,000 to the County of Lorraine for the City of Lorraine's share of the cost of the VIA LC public transportation program and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Nutt.
Thank you, sir. Through the chair, make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Ms. Winkowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? Mr. Demakia.
Through the chair of administration, just a few questions. You may not have the answers this evening, but first off, I think this is a great initiative for the residents in our city. But I'm curious as to what the future is of this particular initiative as far as public transportation goes. And do we have any statistics on how successful this has been in the city? And again, not information that you clearly have this evening, but I would love to see some kind of report on this transportation system and how successful it's been. I know it's been successful for our families and kids in Lorraine City schools. You know, but again, it'd just be great to have some data and you know, obviously get a clear understanding of what it looks like moving forward and what the expenditure is going to be on behalf of the city as we continue to look at this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Macchia. Mayor Bradley?
So as Mr. Demakia said, the program has been very, very successful in the city of Lorraine. I know that in the first 4 months, just in the city of Lorraine itself, over 15,000 rides. I just saw today that Community Action Agency has vouchers that they will give to people who can't afford even the $2 or the $1 that it costs. So if you're a citizen of the city of Lorraine, you can get a ride anywhere in the city of Lorraine for $2. If you're a student, $1. If you're a veteran, free. And it costs the county over $2 million to run this program in Lorraine and Elyria. And they wanted more from the city of Lorraine. But we had some negotiations, and I told them that we'd try to find the money, and luckily through the auditor and BHP department, they were able to find the money, and luckily other cities are so impressed with the way that this program is running that they want it. So they think that they're going to probably go into Oberlin. They're talking to Avon. They're talking to Avon Lake because this microtransit has just been a game changer. And, you know, we received a grant that the county applied for us to have bus routes in the city of Lorraine. So we've got in 2027, I think it's $2.8 million, Matt? $2.8 million that we got from NOACA to run a transportation system in Lorraine. And because this microtransit has been doing so well, we're thinking that maybe we should just continue with microtransit, because it's kind of like Uber and Lyft, where our citizens, you know, it's actually costing about $18 to $20 per ride, and we're getting our citizens to get it for $2 at the most. So really big savings. Try to get an Uber or Lyft for that price. And I went to Lorraine High School to talk to some students last week, and as I'm there, I see the buyer pull up and a couple students get out because maybe they overslept or they didn't feel like taking the bus. So for $1, they get to go to high school. So we may be hitting up like Mercy Hospital and the schools and Myers and Walmart and say, hey, we're getting a lot of people to your institutions and businesses, and maybe we need some support from you. And so it's very popular, and I think we're going to be able to reach out and help fund this thing through other cities participating, and also getting some of the businesses and the nonprofits and so forth that are benefiting from this to kind of chip in a little bit and work as partners for this microtransit. So it's something that actually, you know, our engineering department started the process. We then found out that we couldn't get involved, so the county did sign up to apply for the grant money, and then they decided, you know, would Lorraine and Elyria be willing to do this pilot program, and they funded it totally for the first year. So really, it's been a nice partnership, and it's been helping our citizens, and they have, you know, if you're handicapped, they come right to your door. They'll pick you up. They got a ramp on the back of some of these microbuses that they have, and they pick them right up at the door. Other people, maybe you know, a 5-minute walk to have to meet at a corner to get it. You may have to share a vehicle, but we've had no complaints. The rating has been like 95% plus for this particular program we have in Lorraine, and other cities now want it. So, you know, we're an example to other cities throughout the country that want microtransit. So I'm really glad that we were able to do this with the county.
Before they get too big, I would take you up on that offer, and Lorraine City Schools would definitely love to have that conversation and how we could potentially partner and utilize them in the future.
Yeah, we'll be having that conversation this year with not only Lorraine City Schools, but, you know, we're going to get the data so we know where most of the people are going, and then ask those places where most of the people are going. Like Mercy Hospital is very, very popular place for people to go. We think that Mercy should help out a little bit with that too, and we'll have these partnerships put together. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Bradley. So by these other cities and looking for the service, will they also be investing, just like you mentioned about Mercy, maybe defray our costs?
Our costs would come down because other cities are going to be chipping in. So, and I think that they wanted to see if the city of Lorraine was invested in the city of Elyria. And city of Elyria, even though they don't tell anybody, they get less people using it than we have in the city of Lorraine, but they're going to be paying the same amount that we pay. So we're going to put $250, they're going to put in $250.
Thank you. Ms. Henley.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a comment. I think I was a little leery of this, and I have seen it work. It's very effective. In particular, I think it helps people on the lower income who don't have cash available if their vehicle breaks down. In order to go out and buy a car, I saw a young lady, well, younger than me. Anyway, she was able, when her vehicle broke down and she could not purchase a car, every day. And she got to work every day and she never missed any work. And that put her in a position to step up just a little bit. So, and I've seen it work in other ways, but that was most impressive for me to watch. So,
thank you for your comments, Ms. Henley. Ms. Kempton.
Yes, through the chair. I was at the meeting at the county when they were talking about this, and one of the things that is they're going to look at extending the hours and potentially doing Saturday hours. After Mercy, Walmart is the biggest. It's the biggest destination for this. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Torresberry?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to add in, I think reaching out to Meyer would be very beneficial to the city. I really believe they would be willing to contribute. When Meyer came to town and they met with the director, who then was Leon Mason, after the meeting I asked Director Mason, I said, hey, what did they ask for? Bonds, tax abatements. They asked for a bus stop in front of the store. That's literally the only thing they asked for. So I think they understand how it benefits their business. And I think they would be a willing partner towards a contribution. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Torresberry. No further comments, Ms. Pingowski? Do you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's a fantastic program. We have a lot of elderly. Some of them shouldn't be driving. This allows them to get to their groceries, get to doctor's appointments, which are so important. And, I like the fact that it's being used to help the students. I just think it's a fantastic program.
Well, thank you all for your comments. Sounds like it's positive. Like the mayor said, they took a chance on us, the county did, with Lorraine Elyria, and seems that it was a good outcome. So with that, Mr. Nutt.
Thanks, sir. Make a motion for passage.
Ms. Pingowski.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed unanimously.
Item 11, legislation, second reading.
Introduced by Mrs. Springowski, an ordinance adopting the recommendation of the City of Lorraine Planning Commission to approve the request to rezone permanent parcel numbers 0202-012-106-001 and 0202-012-106-002 and 0202-012-104-052 from R1B to R2 and more fully described in Exhibit A attached here too. And this is the Meister Road.
Ms. Springowski.
Yes, motion to suspend the three reading rule, please.
Ms. Henley.
Support.
Please vote.
The rule is suspended.
Any discussion? No discussion. Ms. Springowski.
I would move for passage, please.
Ms. Henley.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed with 2 dissenting votes. Voting no are Mr. Demakia and Ms. Kempton.
Item B.
Item B is introduced by Mrs. Springowski, an ordinance creating section 911.202 payment plans.
Ms. Springowski.
Yes, motion to suspend the three reading rule, please.
Mr. Demakia. Please vote.
Ms. Kempton, please vote. Thank you. The rule is suspended with one dissenting vote. Voting no is Ms. Duvall.
Any discussion? No discussion. Ms. Springowski.
I would move for passage.
Mr. Demakia.
Support.
Please vote.
The ordinance is passed with two dissenting votes. Voting no are Ms. Duvall and Ms. Kempton.
Item 12, legislation, third reading.
Introduced by both Mr. Nutt and Mr. Thornsberry, an ordinance accepting the plat of Sandy Springs subdivision number 5 within the city of Lorraine.
Mr. Thornsberry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As I shared some information with all of council today, I just wanted to update everyone. Despite us meeting on location on Friday with the engineering department, and then myself and Kate meeting there literally right before I drove here today, we are still not at a point to be able to move forward on this particular item. I'm happy to report, though, we do have a meeting set up with the developer and the engineering department, the law department, and myself on Thursday. Because of that, at this time, I would like to move to hold this item in abeyance until our next regular council meeting.
Mr. Nutt.
I would second that motion.
Please vote.
The motion to hold the matter in abeyance carries unanimously.
Item 13, committee calls. Yes. Committee calls.
On June 9th at 5:30 p.m., there will be a public hearing to discuss a proposed zoning code change amendment to Chapter 1151, signs of the codified ordinances. On July 14th, following the Finance Committee, there will be a Streets and Utilities Committee meeting to discuss the SWAB biannual report. And that was the meeting that was previously scheduled for June 23rd. It has been rescheduled to the 14th of July. And on October 13th, there will be a Finance Committee to hear a quarterly budget report.
Thank you. Any other committee calls? Ms. Springowski.
Yes, I would ask that we have a Building and Lands Committee meeting with regards to the public nuisance ordinance. Just, even if it's not a committee meeting, a work session, if you will, just so that we can go over it and explain things to the public and get public comment.
You'll be setting your dates?
I am willing to work with Mr. Nutt as that is his committee.
Thank you. No further committee calls. Item 14, miscellaneous concerns from council. If you have a concern, please put on your light. Ms. Carter.
Yes, no concern right now, but I just want to remind everyone that Oakwood Pool is opening June 9th, Monday through Friday, 1 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 5. And then they also have the kids' summer camps. So if you know any parents that need to get their kids to summer camps and want to get a break, send them on over there. It's going to be at Lakeview. The pool prices, daily rate is $4. Individuals are $60. Family up to 4 is $200. And then additional members are $30 each. All this information is on the website.
Any other comments, Ms. Carter? Thank you.
Yes, we will be having celebrating in remembrance of Sam Felton Jr. at Sam Felton Central Park on June 14th, and everyone is welcome at 2 o'clock.
Thank you. Mr. Demakia.
Yes, through the chair to the community, just to piggyback off of what Ms. Carter was saying. Lorraine City Schools will also be having their summer feeding program, and their food bus will be located at Oakwood Park and Fellow Park during the summer. I can get times. I don't have those in front of me right now, but they'll be out there as well, feeding our kids and families. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nutt.
Mr. the Chair, just a quick comment about the Streets and Utilities Committee meeting that we had earlier. I might be a little biased. I've known Director Carbonaro for over 20 years now. I just wanted to say that I do know him to be a smart, hardworking, respectful young man who can be very passionate at times. So hopefully just don't judge him for that interaction. I don't condone those interactions. It's unfortunate. But in regards to the trash as well, I've had an issue where I've called in about trash, and I have called into Republic as well, and they actually do direct you to the city. So I've had that happen a couple times. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you work with that or whatnot, but they literally have directed me to the city multiple times, just as a point of reference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nutt. That's very interesting. Mr. Arroyo.
I just had a few questions or concerns. One was just an update on the church on 32nd and Pearl. I know the grass is about 3.5 feet, but more importantly, there's about 25 feet of open fence in the back by the alley where I just chased some kids out of playing in the church again. So we could get an update when that's looking at being filled in.
Mr. Carrier.
Yeah, thank you through the chair to Councilman Arroyo. I'll confirm in the morning that we were hoping that later this week is when the city crews will be hoping to begin with the work on that corner.
Appreciate it. And also, sometime this week, if you can give me an update, I know they're planning a disc golf tournament in the next 3 weeks. If we can get the foundation for where they start and finish, if we can get an update on that, if that's possible.
We'll give you an update on that as well. We did discuss it as in the works. We're getting the money into the right account so we can actually get the work started.
I appreciate it. And last one, this is more of just a general statement with a lot of violence that's been going on and a lot of persecution either towards certain groups of people, let it be the individuals that are involved with some of it, their parents or the police department. I know for a long time, a lot of social media, including our share and Avon Lake lately, have been utilizing social media. So I also sent out an email today asking for an update if there's going to be some type of community policing and an advocate for our police department to get back on it. I know there was some persecution going along a few years ago and they shut off, but I think the biggest way to go against some persecution is to address it. And I know Chief McCann, or Sitting Chief, not McCann, but Faley has been doing what he can do, but ask him to get back on that if he's able to do that. I know he's limited with some of his ability right now, just as a sit-in, but ask him if he can start pushing the community policing again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arroyo. Ms. Moon.
Thank you, Council President. Had some questions about City View. Some of the residents would like to know when the bathroom was going to start. And also, still waiting for an answer about the sidewalks that were put in, which are great, across 36th Street and 39th Street. And also, tomorrow's a wonderful day, class of 2025. Lorraine High School will be graduating, a nice big class, so let's keep all them in prayers that their journeys will be wonderful after they graduate.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Ms. Kempton?
Just chief thanks to the chair. There are multiple panels of fence down at the Stoveworks, so if someone could look into that. And just an announcement, the summer movies will be starting this Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Palace. These movies are free, along with a free beverage and a free popcorn for all that attend. And we'll be doing those all the way until August. So anybody who wants to go see a free movie with their kids, they're all family movies. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Henley.
Thank you, Mr. Arredondo. Just a quick thing, with the weather warming up, I am noticing considerable amounts of bulk trash on the tree lawns, and I don't know if it's effective because there's a cost to it for BHP, maybe on the day after trash day, to cite some of these people that have, go the following day and just cite them, because sometimes by the time the council people catch it, unless someone calls, it's been sitting there and spread all over the neighborhood for weeks. The other thing is, I will be calling to schedule an appointment with the administration here, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. Mr. Duval?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to say I appreciate the lights at the corner of Lakeview and at the Lakeview Park not being blinking lights anymore. I think that's a lot safer. I would like to know the status of the auxiliary police being authorized to issue non-moving tickets. Okay. I don't know where that is, but I do know that the grass is growing. Cars are parking on it. Joanne's upset. Is someone going to respond to that, or should I keep going? Oh.
Keep going.
Chief Saling.
Hi, we ran into a problem with Tyler Technology. They are working to get the interfaces between the software and New World. So that's what we're waiting on. All the equipment is in. They're ready to go as soon as the interface is fixed.
Okay, is there an estimated time?
That's going through Tyler Technology. I do not know. They told us the equipment to buy. We bought it, and now they're saying it's not working. So
Sounds like my internet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Also,
thank you, Chief.
Safety Director Perrion, are we going to get an update on the status of the loan forgiveness? Okay, all right.
If I could, yes, through the chair to Councilwoman, yes. We began reviewing the first section, I think the first 20. BHP and myself are going to meet on the second round this week and next week on the final round. Once we have all three, then we'll certainly come back to council and give you an update on all of them.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the citizens know that the city is not just willy-nilly forgiving people for money they owe us. There's a lot of work going into it to make sure that people who owe a debt pay their debt. I'd also like to appreciate just this evening the city moving to increase protection for our homeowners from those who think they live in the wild and woolly West, and they can install whatever they want, wherever they want, and whenever they want. I really appreciate that protection for our citizens. And I also appreciate the city's attempt to bridge the transportation gap. That is really important to a lot of people in my community, and I appreciate the work that you've done on that.
Thank you, Mr. Duval. Mr. Demakia.
Yes, I apologize, but something came to mind. So through the chair of administration, I know we've had discussions on it multiple times, and I know you're working on it, but status on the trailer park at 8th and Washington. But the only reason I bring that up again is simply because not only the trailers are an issue, but they have a foundation poured for a house that's been sitting there for, like, I don't know, 3-4 years maybe. I can't imagine that's not a safety concern for that neighborhood, but I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the situation is, but there's got to be a solution to cap that off. If they're not going to build a house, and we got to do something with it. We can't just leave a hole in the ground on that corner. So I just wanted to bring that up. I know you guys are working on it, but I just thought about that foundation. Well, thank you.
Mr. Mayor Bradley.
So I bring up 8th and Washington at every manager's meeting. And, you know, we got it moved before Christmas, and then all of a sudden it got back there. And then we were told, well, since nobody's living there, we have to go through a legal process to get it moved. And I'd like Mr. Kuznard. Is he still here? Oh, he left. Left me holding the bag. So, Bill, believe me, we've had the health department over there because we thought that kids were living in there, and it's a mess inside. And Mr. Riley, could you give us any kind of insight into why we just can't, like, throw this thing away? I don't understand it. I mean, really, I'm as frustrated as everybody else because this is my pet peeve. Because if it's not you, it's Mrs. Kempton and somebody else that's asking about this trailer on 8th and Washington. It's been 5 months. Am I creating? It's on my list every week. Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying since it's moved at Christmas and then it came back in January.
And the people know it's not zoned for storage outside.
Nobody's living there now. It's just like it's a trailer. So I'm going to ask Mr. Riley to give us some insight because I haven't been involved in the legal part of it. I've only been involved in the complaining part of it. So,
Mr. Riley.
I appreciate you asking me. The fact of the matter is I've assigned to other people in my office, so I'm not at this moment in time completely abreast of all the recent developments in the saga of 8th and Washington and the trailer. But I would defer to Mr. Zaleski if he is up to speed on that matter. He may or may not be. But I don't attend to everything in my office at all times. And I have a bit of advance warning. I would have been prepared to give you an up-to-date.
Mr. Resar and I think Scott were working on drafting for a nuisance. They have the thing declared a nuisance and towed away. That's the last I heard from Scott and Ken. We're working on that.
I think the question you're posing, Mayor, is can we just tow it away? Yeah. Or do we have to go through a legal process? And I do believe that your safety service director and I did have some honest discussion about this, frankly. But I believe my office's position is we just can't go in there and tow it away. But I'll give you a better briefing on that tomorrow morning because I'm not fully up to speed and able to give you a complete explanation as we sit here tonight. I wasn't prepared for that.
So we can get that explanation at the next meeting, Mr. Riley? Thank you.
From 28th Street and
Please. We're doing good tonight, okay? Ms. Springowski.
Yes, Ray, get your pen ready. I got a list. First of all, high grass. Do we have a designated email and phone number for this? Because of the weather and it being May, it's like no more May. I wasn't turning anything in, but now that we're into June, we've got a lot of high grass. I've had some people complaining about it. We've also got to take a look at the line of sight with the bushes at Colby and Longbrook because we've had a couple accidents there, but the line of sight is compromised. Parking on the grass, I'm with Mrs. Moon on this. I know it's the weather and everything like that. I don't do it on holiday weekends, but your side yard, your backyard, your front yard is not a parking lot. It is not your driveway. We have ordinances for this. Please do not park in the grass. I've had residents that have asked me about having golf carts. I could see it in the HOA areas, in the small and that, but there's a lot that goes into that with governors and everything. The ATVs are back. Even had one on my street. Young girl riding it, no helmet, no protective equipment. Apparently doesn't know what a stop sign is for. And I really don't want to see a kid splattered on the street. And that is what is going to happen. These kids are riding them. They shouldn't be riding them. They're not licensed drivers in the first place. They don't obey traffic rules. They're going to get hurt. And then, of course, that's going to be the kid that would have cured cancer. And so everybody's going to be crying the blues about it. Another one. I understand from emails that I received today that there is going to be an ordinance about chickens in the city. I'm a big believer in don't ask, don't tell. Now, I know in Europe that they're forcing people to register the chickens because of the bird flu and the issues with it. They can be very dirty. I grew up on a farm. We raised chickens. We were doing free-range chickens before it was fashionable. It was called The Chickens Got Loose. And apparently we've got some free-range chickens in the city of Lorraine. I sent in pictures of an ad for 58 chickens that are over on Leroy and G Street for sale for $350. So if they're breeding chickens, and they got the setup, because I got the pictures, they must have roosters, which are also not allowed. Okay, I have a really nice digital alarm clock that gets me up. I don't need your rooster getting me up. Okay, my digital alarm clock is much more reliable anyway. But that is what townships are for. Because 58 chickens. Okay, that's a lot of chickens. Okay, and the smell has got to be incredible. Because I know what these birds do. They don't just produce eggs. When we have the ordinance to have 5, we know that we're going to have certain people that are going to go and have 10 or 58. And they're not going to follow. Keeping it as it is allows us to address this. If you're not causing a problem, if you're not breeding and selling 58 chickens for $350, in case anybody's interested, then you don't have anything to worry about. Nobody's going to say anything unless they're getting loose, they're getting into your neighbor's gardens or what have you. They can be very destructive birds. And it'll start, then they'll want ducks, then they'll want geese, and geese are just nasty. And then they'll want turkeys, then they'll want goats, then they'll want pigs, then they'll want sheep, then they'll want a miniature pony. I really want a miniature pony. Not getting one, not even allowed to get a dog. But we've got to curtail this. Farm animals belong on farms. They do not belong in urban settings. We've got people that can't even go and contain their dogs, that they're always getting out and they're causing problems. Do we expect them to contain farm animals? So I normally don't have any issues with that, but this is just out of control. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Moon, you want the last word?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm getting a lot of calls about raccoons. Don't be laughing, Joe. They trap them. Then what do they do with them? I mean, a lot of raccoons, a lot of calls. So they have to trap them themselves, I take it, and then they have to get rid of the raccoons themselves, right? Please. Thank you.
Ms. Moon, you have the last word, which means call for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Ms. Minkowski,
support.
Please vote.
Mr. Arroyo, please vote. Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. It was a very good meeting. Thank you for your cooperation. Have a good night.